Welcome to Satsang, welcome to those online and those in the room. It's lovely to see some new faces. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Could you have your phones on silent or off, not on vibrate, as vibration can make a lot of noise in a quiet room. The toilet's just at the top of the stairs, and drinks are now £1. And could I please ask that people do pay for them, because they do help towards the running of Satsang, which is a free event. As usual, Satsang will consist of a talk. If you have if you have a question online, please email them in beforehand. If your question comes up tonight, just email evolutionofspirit@gmail.com, and it'll be asked at the next Satsang. After Helen's done a talk, she will ask for questions and read out any email questions she has. Please wait to be invited up to the chair to ask your question. Please bear in mind that it is something that goes on YouTube, so don't give any personal details. While you're in the room, we ask that you stay in the room while Satsang is on, and that there's no eating. We'll have drinks afterwards. After Satsang, Helen asked that we stay on topic, just to keep the energy as it is, because we usually end up in quite a peaceful state. And if you have a question, please ask it in Satsang, not after Satsang, so that everyone can benefit from it. Sometimes if people ask Helen questions on her own, somebody else might be waiting for that answer. If you do want to have a private session with Helen, she does have one-to-one sessions, which can be done online, and you can interact via video conferencing. All events are on the website www.helenhamilton.org. There's a new thing on the website which has just gone on today. Helen's been interviewed about her own awakening, and it's just under an hour, and it's on the bio page and the audio page. And within it, she was asked what were her issues that came up when she was going through it, and how she dealt with it. And I think it's a really good example of how we could all benefit from listening to that. So on to events. Tomorrow there's the lunchtime Satsang here, 11 till 1. And from April, they're going to be on a Monday. All the dates are on the website. And if you want the events calendar sending out, for those who haven't asked me yet, just give me your email address, or let me know you want to be added to the list. There isn't a Satsang next Friday lunchtime, as it did state on the calendar at one point. There isn't one. There isn't another one until the beginning of April. In April, again, we have the Dissolving the Ego course. Now, it's not going to run as frequently. The next one will not be until September. So if you do want to do it, be booked on it, because spaces are limited. There are spaces at the moment, but it does fill up very quickly. And if you're online, you can attend these courses via video conferencing, where you can interact fully with Helen as if you're in the room. You don't have to miss out. On Sunday, there's the Sangha support group online, which is at 12:30, and that's just as it says, a support group. The link is on the website again, and it's an interactive thing for anyone who's feeling isolated, particularly those who can't come in person and they feel like they're not able to be part of the group. You know, join in and ask your questions and have a chat. It's run by Gaynor, who's been doing this for a little while with us, and she's very nice. So I think that is it. Enjoy your Satsang, and remember, if you do have questions, ask them so everyone can benefit from them. I've sat in many a Satsang, and that question's been asked that I didn't really want to ask, and to hear the answer is amazing. Enjoy your Satsang.
Namaste. And welcome to Satsang. New faces, old faces, not so old faces. Faces that have been before. And everyone online. So Satsang is for finding out what's real, for finding out what's true. And as such, I don't really think it should be so difficult. I don't think it should take so long. And I don't really feel that there's any clever trick to it, or that you have to have the right karma or the right lifetime or any of these things. It's really just a willingness and an openness to consider that there might be more about you than perhaps you had considered. There might be more to you than you realized. Because I have to tell you that there's something wonderful about you, and the candles agree. There is something amazing about you. There is something that is so magically, wonderfully huge about you that perhaps has been undiscovered, that what we have seen about ourselves, the visible part of ourselves, is perhaps a tip of an enormous iceberg that's under the surface. That our body and mind could be just a fraction of what we are instead of the totality of it. And I know this with an utter conviction because I know what you are, because I know what I am. And it's kind of my role to be your biggest fan, your cheerleader, your guide, or whatever you want to call it, to encourage you, because human beings, we tend to accept some smaller version of ourselves, and perhaps we don't even always know that there is something else. And even when we see our real nature, the tendency is still for a while to go back to the old, to the familiar, to the uncomfortably familiar. So I have to tell you that you're unlimited and that you are infinite in reality, and that there is nothing that can stand in your way, not even your mind, especially not your mind, from seeing the truth. There isn't a single obstacle that you cannot overcome in this search. for what's real. And when that desire is strong within you to find it, you will find it. You'll draw someone to you, or you'll find something online or someone that will show you what to do, how to look. And that's what I'd like to do tonight, is to really go into how to find what you actually are. So if you've come to discover what you are, then I'd urge you to follow along and confirm as I'm talking, and see within your own self if you can experience directly what you actually are. We're also very familiar with our mind and our body. We're also very comfortable with our limited sense of self, that which we can see in our thoughts and our body and our relationships in our world. And even we may be comfortable with our spiritual seeking. We may be almost too comfortable, that we don't actually really want to find deep down inside, because that would be the end of seeking. But what you are is so amazing, so utterly beautiful, that it is worth finding. And finding now while you have this body to look with, to contrast, to compare. While you have this brain to think and discern, you can use it to find what's eternal about you, what isn't going to die, and what never arrived, what was never born about you. So there is only one thing that can stop you from seeing the truth, and that's if you feel deep down that you can be stopped, you can be blocked, that something can get in your way. But I don't really think that's a valid reason for anybody not finding, because it is already what you are. It's the truth about you. If you had to become this infinite self, there might be a problem. You might have the wrong tools or the wrong technique. But just to look and see what can go wrong with that, once you know how to look. It's like, here's a mirror, have a look at yourself. And you look and you see. So to clearly discern what we actually are, we only need to know the difference between what is you and what is yours. What is it that you call you, and what do you call yours? So anything that you can perceive, that you can observe or witness, you call yours or mine. So this goes right from my body, mine is mine. My thoughts, I call mine. My emotions, my relationships, my life, my existence, my world, even my ego. We say my ego, we don't say me. So the very fact that we call it mine means it cannot actually be fundamentally what we are. They belong to you, your body, your mind. You kind of borrow them for a while. Emotions and all these things that we observe to be coming and going about ourselves. All the things that we're quite already familiar with. But who are you that says mine? Who are you? What do you actually mean? What does it refer to when you say me or I? Who are you without all these things that you call mine? So just for this investigation, not counting your body, not counting your mind. They're not going to disappear. You're not going to get rid of our body or anything. We're just being clear about what is us and what is ours, so that we can get rid of those things temporarily that are clouding us seeing. Who are you if you don't think about yourself, if you don't use thought to describe yourself? What can you tell me about yourself if you don't reference your body, your mind, and your emotions? What's on your to-do list if all of that is temporarily removed from your self-definition? What remains when that has gone for now? So without your body, your thoughts, your emotions, you can only tell me that you are here. That's the only thing you can be certain of. As what? Perhaps we can't say as yet. But I can't be in my body because I can perceive it. I'm looking at it from somewhere else. I can't be in my emotions because I see them come and go, and I'm still here when they go. I also can't be in my thoughts because I'm watching those move in front of me, coming and going. I can observe my body and any sensations that arise in it, so I cannot be it. What remains then when all of this has been removed from our self-definition? What can you tell me about yourself from that place where there's just you? Everything that you could possibly tell me about yourself would be about your body, your mind, your personality, your emotions. And there is nothing wrong with that at all until we want to find out what we actually are, what was here before our body, our mind, and what will remain afterwards and is still here right now. What happens when you ask, what am I? And you don't reference thought to describe yourself? What remains? Whatever remains is very definitely here. It's another name for you. There is something that you cannot call yours because it's you. It's not observable like your body. You can't see it out here. And it's not observable like your emotions. You can't see it in here. It's not even your spiritual search because you can kind of perceive that too. The growth and the progress or lack of progress. Even if your mind is saying right now, I don't understand, that is also observed by you. When you don't reference any thought at all to describe yourself, only you remain. And your body is just here and it's functioning. Your senses haven't suddenly stopped working because we're doing this investigation. Everything's just happening naturally. You haven't forgotten to breathe and your heart hasn't stopped, just because you're paying attention to what you are. What can you describe about yourself if you don't talk about your body or your emotions or your mind? Whenever I ask someone how they are, I always hear, well, I feel and I think and my mind is telling me. And they never ever tell me about themselves, ever. What would you say? How are you today? Well, I am, Short conversation. The only thing that you cannot call yours is this moment that your body and your mind and your emotions and even your spiritual search, and that this satsang is appearing in this moment, wherever you're watching this or listening. What is this moment? Where is it? How long does it go on for? When will this moment stop? Perhaps there is another version of you that is so wonderfully enormous that you've never even noticed, that perhaps it's been here all the time, the space in which your body is appearing, the awareness, the sentient formlessness that we can call awareness, or we can call emptiness, or we can call it silence, or we can call it now. But it's also called you. And it's the primary thing about you. Could you perceive your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your relationships, your world, all of it, without this moment, this emptiness for them to appear in? This moment can appear without your body and your thoughts, but your body and your thoughts can't appear without this moment. Which is here first? And which will be here after the body's gone? It's not the way we're used to thinking of ourselves, is it? A giant, vast, infinite expanse. If your body got up and walked, set off walking, how far would it get before you lost that sense of now? When would that now moment suddenly change to the next moment? Could that actually happen? There is something timeless about you. It isn't now and then next and then later. It's just now, which is always. Does this moment itself ever change? What's appearing in this moment is changing, always, constantly. What about this moment itself? Could this be another version of you that's always there? Could it be that you just never noticed or perceived yourself that way? But where are you that hears your thoughts? You can hear what's heard through your ears and what's heard in here effortlessly. You can see what's happening inside your body, your emotions, and you can see with your physical eyes effortlessly. So just to clearly understand what is you and what is yours, when you subtract temporarily what is yours, what belongs to you but is not actually you, what you are remains and becomes clear. And this you is never going to shout for your attention. It's been here before time began. And it's not aging and it's not changing. And it wasn't born. And it's not on a journey towards self-realisation. It just is. And it doesn't have any opinion at all about what's appearing inside this moment. It just completely is. Can you accept that you are totally different to what you have believed about yourself. None of us can at first. We always go back to our old definition for a while. A little bit of loyalty to thinking of ourselves as only a human being. You are this body too, these bodies. You are your thoughts also. But to anchor yourself in that, as that which is not going to go away, what is it like to live like that? Without any ending at all, because there was no beginning to that. Is there a you appearing in this moment? If you don't count your body, if you don't count thought, a thought entity, can you find yourself floating around in this moment when you actually look? Is there really a separate being called you? How many now moments are present in this room if we're all perceiving it at the same time? Where does your now end and mine start? So the first thing is to be clear, to look and discern what you actually are. But then you must begin to value somehow what you've just realized, what you've seen about yourself. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's not true. And just because what you feel you are, what you think about yourself is familiar doesn't mean it's ever been true. Doesn't mean you've ever actually been that person. From this point forward, every time you feel you have a problem, you'll be telling me about your mind or your body. If you can discern, is this issue of my body or my mind or my emotions, is it really my issue? If you say, well, that now moment was really, really clear that it was me when I was sitting in Satsang, and now I feel like I've lost it. Well, how do you know you've lost it? Well, I feel bad. I don't feel like I did before. Then you're describing how your body feels, not anything really to do with you. Or my mind is confused. I can't really remember what I need to do to get back to this moment. Then you're telling me your mind's problem, not yours. And there isn't a single problem that is yours, ever. So thoughts will carry on, going on for a while. Emotions may come and go. Your body will continue to evolve, to change, to grow. But you will not change. You are that formless reality in which all of this is appearing and disappearing, coming and going. What do you need as this now moment? What can you be lacking? Can you suffer like this? Even if your mind is confused, can you suffer here as this? Are you willing to admit inside yourself that you are so much more than you've ever perceived about yourself? Even if you don't feel you can, does that affect you? Does that affect this moment? This moment isn't dead and inert. It's vast intelligence that created the cosmos and sustains it, which is also known as you. So first see what you are by seeing what you're not. And then you must hold on to that. The next time, the first time that your mind suggests that you have a problem. And then you must hold on to that. The next time, the first time that your mind suggests that you have a problem. You're not just going to say, well, my body doesn't matter. But you'll be resting as your real self, in which you're much more able to take appropriate action to help your body and mind. It's really, really simple. What remains if I don't count my body and my mind and my emotions? Well, the space that they're appearing in. Simple, the simplest thing a human being can recognize, and yet ironically the most difficult, because it takes us that long to come to a willingness to be totally and utterly wrong about what we actually are. What is this going to cost you? It's going to cost you all your ideas about yourself. Can you still believe that you're not good enough from here? Can you still believe that you're never going to wake up from here? Or did it just happen? Can you still believe that you're experiencing lack and limitation from here? Can you still worry about death from here? Are you going to grow old as this and frail? Are you ever going to be confused again from here? Or is that no longer your challenge to sort out? You recognize yourself clearly as the unchanging reality in which all of these forms and phenomena are coming and going. There will be an absence of fear and presence of peace. Recognize it and then choose it, and then choose it, and then choose it. Every time that a problem is suggested to you, every time. Every time you choose to live as this, because you are it anyway, you'll be climbing higher and higher away from the gravitational pull of your mind and its problems. Even the greatest problem of all, which is how to realize the self, and then how to live as that. What you are is so incredibly beautiful, infinite. And whether we admit it to ourselves or not, it's what we already are. So we may as well be it consciously, to live like that consciously, and enjoy the fruits of that. Very next thing your mind will say is, can't be that easy, you know. Okay, I will look at this question that's been emailed in. Says, hello. I'm finding myself being caught by an underlying fear of forgetting to remember to check in to myself with a capital S. Whether that's fear of forgetting to question thoughts or getting caught up with phenomena, which leads to a fear of not progressing. Being forgetful is the fear which is the most prominent. But I have also realized recently that when the self presents itself, it's not a thought process, it just happens. However, there is still the fear that it won't. Is there any other advice you can give to help me transcend these egocentric fears? Namaste. So I'm finding myself being caught by an underlying fear of forgetting to remember to check into myself. So it's a clever one, this mind, isn't it? So now you've seen what you are, and it's coming, this revelation as you're checking in. Let me check this again, let me see it again, let me confirm it again. And mind says, the fear, you're going to forget to check in. You're forgetting, So based on what I've just said, is that a problem for you? Are you the one forgetting or remembering to check in to what you are? Is it a thought process? Looking and seeing, what am I really? When I don't reference thought, what am I actually? So whether it's fear of forgetting to question thoughts or getting caught up with the phenomena, which leads to a fear of not progressing, well, is this now moment getting caught up with phenomena? If we're not so sure that we're the one checking in and remembering and forgetting, where all those thoughts up here, then are we also the one getting caught up? Or is attention wandering? Is attention wandering? It sees this moment, recognizes, and then goes back to thought and says, I've lost it. It's gone. Is this now moment getting caught up with anything? Is it capable? If it had a voice, which it does as a human being, would it say, this nowness, I can't quite seem to remember myself, or I've forgotten myself? Or is that just totally not applicable to the formless nothingness that you are? When the self, I've also realized that when the self presents itself, it's not a thought process. It just happens. What does that mean? It means you can discount every problem that happens in thought. Every single one. Everyone. It's not a thought process. It just happens. However, there is still the fear that it won't. So fear is a feeling. So is this feeling anything to do with you, now that you've seen what you actually are? What is it that's scared? Is it you? Is this moment scared of anything? Does it feel emotions? Is it capable? So just applying what we've said tonight will blast this problem out of your radar. If we are sure that our body is ours and not me, and we're sure that our mind is ours and not me, and my emotions, including fear, is mine, not me, then do we need to pick up this problem as mine or me? Or is it just happening to your mind, and then the resulting emotion of fear comes from that? This is a perfect example of applying what we've just said, what we've just been through. A fear of not progressing. Well, is that true for you, even if you're the unchanging reality? How far have you progressed since the beginning of the universe? Or before? Trick question, that one. Sorry. Is there any other advice you can give to help transcend these egocentric fears? Well, if they're egocentric, then they're nothing to do with you. They're a thought. It's just this tendency to pick up thoughts as my problem. This tendency to pick up emotions as my problem. If you remain as this moment in which those thoughts and emotions are happening, will they trouble you? If they're happening inside you, if this voice says inside you somewhere, you've forgotten to check in, you're not progressing, you're not getting anywhere. How different is that than if that voice is talking to you? If it's just talking inside you, hugely different. One is utter peace, and the other is utter disturbance. And I really only have one answer to every question, and it's really just to find out if this is actually your problem or not. Would anybody like to ask a question or share about the... Yeah, we'll go with you first. You're up next. There's a dead heat then. Both hands went up at the same time. Lovely to meet.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, it's really nice to be here because I was sort of thinking it's so expensive to go to retreats in India or Portugal or even Rupert's. Is, you know, it's so yeah, it's lovely that you do this.
Ended up in Batley instead.
Yeah, it's great. It's like 10 minutes from where I work. It's brilliant.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I've got this story of suffering and trauma, and I've got this seeking mind that is relentless, you know, and has been for 20 years.
Oh, I remember that feeling.
Yeah.
Not too well, but I remember it. I remember it was pretty awful.
And I've got these beliefs that I need to release, that trauma is trapped in my body in some way, residual trauma. So I've been doing Rupert's various yoga meditations, and I smoke DMT to sort of widen my awareness. And when I'm in the DMT experience, which is a very loving and unconditional experience, this emotion, just I cry like I've never heard myself cry before. It's as if it comes
from here,
from my guts. Yeah, it's like a guttural. I don't get that experience when I do the meditations or you know, and anything else I've done. But my question is, well, is it real? Is my mind just perpetuating it? Is this just a story that I'm thinking, oh, I need to smoke DMT to get rid of this trauma? You know, is it actually there, or do I need to do it, or am I not, or I don't know, because the only reason why I feel I need to do it is because the experiences in my life reflect back to me, you know, this massive sense of lack. You know, always have perpetual feelings of guilt. I'm not doing good enough for people, you know, I'm letting people down. I'm in a lot of debt, and I feel, you know, so I feel like I need to, for these experiences to change, I need to release this trauma, but I know also that I can still be present. I'm aware of it all. I'm still, I don't need to wait to get rid of it to then be present.
See, from mind's perspective, it feels that it's right. It's saying you can't feel better until all this is gone.
Yeah.
You know, so from mind's perspective, that is true, because that's all it can see. Mind can't see the real self that is just, you know, always being what you actually are. So mind's insistent that this is the way to solve this problem, because it really feels that's, ironically, mind never seems to notice that the same tactic has never actually worked, no matter how many times we've tried it. You know, if I try to change my situation or I try to release something, I might feel better temporarily, but then the same issue just keeps coming up. The only place to solve this is to move to a place where the problem itself doesn't exist. And then we're not perpetuating these beliefs, because these beliefs we're allowing our experiences to tell us what we think and feel about ourselves. But we're experiencing this because we're so powerful as the infinite self. So if I believe that I'm not good enough, I might think I'm a human being, but I'm actually the infinite reality. So I'll immediately create this experience of being not good enough. And my feelings will back it up. There'll be guilt or some shame or something. And then there'll be an experience out there in the world of not being quite up to par, as you described. So when you see that if you reside in the true place, where you don't actually ever solve the problem, it just kind of goes away on its own. Because you can never ever do anything as a human being that's going to make you feel good enough. You could manage that for a moment and then it'll change again, because this is always changing into this external world. Instead, if you stay in the place where your worthiness isn't even in question and it can experience no lack at all, then your beliefs, how you feel about yourself, is going to have to change then. You can't be feeling absolutely peaceful and really disturbed at the same time. It's just not really possible. And then this begins to pervade from the inside out into your life. First of all, your body feels more relaxed, and then you begin to experience better and better things. And if you insist on staying on your true place, then everything that you experience has to begin to agree with how you're already feeling. Instead of trying to get your outside world to look a certain way and your inside world to feel a certain way, you can just be in that place that's real, doesn't need anything at all. And then everything else will shift to agree with how you feel. Right now, if you feel that you're not quite good enough, which is inherent in all human beings, you know, you never quite, make it to that finish line where this is how I should be, and I never quite seem to get there somehow. There's always some further distance to go. If you stay in that place where it's not even in question whether you're good enough or not, it's just not relevant, then everything else has to begin to agree with that. It's like we've been trying from the outside in, and then we've sort of go, well, let me just, how can I ever get what I want when I'm living from the wrong idea of what I actually am? It's like trying to drive to London with your sat-nav in Chinese and you don't understand. You might make it eventually, but it'll be such a long way around, So if you start off from the right place, the right knowing what's true about yourself, and then still see after that if there's a problem still. And maybe it's been perpetuated because we've been trying to fix this problem that the mind show you have, but you actually never have. Mind says, but look at all these experiences I keep having of lack. You look at my finances, look at my relationships, look at my life, look at everything. Obvious there isn't enough. Enough love, enough peace, enough money, enough time, enough energy, all of it, right? But there's no way out of that. You can just step back out of it into your real self and then watch it right itself. It's like the cheat at life, If we keep trying to get somewhere, then we're agreeing that there actually is a problem. And we've tried that endlessly to fix the problems that seem to be there. Do you get a sense of what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So did you, when you were going through your awakening experience, did you have emotions?
My life was an utter train wreck. It was a disaster. It really was.
Do you think you do hold it in your body then?
Yeah.
Or is that... Yeah.
Your body is constantly, and your mind is constantly having to feel what you think about yourself. So it's got to feel it. If you feel that you're not good enough, then your body's going to constantly be in a lower state of consciousness and fear, because what comes with unworthiness is fear. I'm not good enough and somebody's going to find out. It's that feeling that we've all got inside. And at some point, somebody's going to figure out I'm this fraud and then I'll be in trouble, or some feeling like that. And the only way they came out finally, these emotions, is from that real place. They came out a lot when I was waking up, but to realize that who your story is about yourself has never actually been true. As shocking as that is, when it really hits home, then you're free to finally let go of all this stuff, because it's just like a bad dream that you've woken up out of. To realize that there's never been anything wrong with you, it's powerful. And then this stuff can just leave, rather than sort of our body's constantly playing out what we feel is true, what we're sure of, what our experiences keep telling us, and we just go around and around and around. And when there's fear there as well, we hold the body like this, not literally like this, but I used to wake up at first thing in the morning and I was like this, and my jaw, and it took me a good year or so to just really, after seeing it, to let the body just relax as the fear went and the guilt, and all that. So it'll come out and it'll go, once and for all. But from that place where you're not a DIY project, where you're not a work in progress anymore, that's the best place to do it from, because everything will just fix itself. If you have a sense of wholeness and completeness, your mind and body will still be evolving. They're always going to be evolving, but you know your own completeness already. The rest of your life has to begin to reflect that back to you. Right now, it's probably reflecting back to you that you're not there yet, and there's further to go, and almost there, just this last step, and then you'll be there, because that's what seems true to mind, but you can discern the difference. There's something about me that's not needing or wanting anything. What does my life look like when I rest as that? Do I even need to find peace or clarity even as that? And then everything that you experience has to begin to agree with that, because like attracts like. There's no way out of that cycle as a person, as a human being, because we let our experiences dictate what we're going to feel about ourselves, and we create more of the same from that place.
Yeah, it's why the law of attraction never worked for me.
I tried really, really hard to make it work, and then I realized it's responding to my idea about myself. If I'm a spiritual seeker needing to find truth, I'm going to have lots of experiences in need. I did have lots. But if I'm already complete and whole, open to evolving more, but knowing that's happening to my body and mind and not me, I'm not changing, then the law of attraction actually just began to go, yes, you are already complete. Here's some more stuff, and it doesn't necessarily show up as like thousands and thousands of pounds in the bank, but to live where you can never run out of anything, that's a wonderful place to be. But you have to be sure that you're the infinite one first. You have to confirm that. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Just jump over all that stuff and out of it if you want a quick way out.
Yeah.
Too easy, right? Too simple. Mine says, but where's the struggle? How am I going to prove my worthiness now?
It's because the mind just likes this logical step-by-step, process to. Yeah. But yeah, I just need
if it's had enough though as well, it will also welcome the peace of just sitting inside your real self. Even your mind will fall in love with it. It'll still try to distract you a little bit, but you can just allow, you feel your body will start to relax. You might even be noticing that now, just something's not quite so tense, and then that'll just get deeper and deeper. And as your mind and your body will just begin to feel the effects of knowing that you're safe, I mean, all of us have been living with this existential fear that we're going to come to an end, and it terrifies us. And we can't deal with it consciously. It gets stuck in the tissues and the muscles. When that finally stops, you have to seeing again and again that I'm not coming or going. I'm not a thing that was born or is going to die. That has such a healing effect on the body. You know, such a profound effect on everyone around you in the end. You know, they might not know what's different about you, but they'll know there is something very different about you. You know.
Yeah, that's happening. Well, I could say it's happening now, can I? Could say
just don't pick up any of mine's problems of choice, you know, from the menu of stress from today, you know. And if you do pick them up, just drop them when you realise.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Just a quick question. I was thinking about another satsang you did when Abby asked about the.
Can I just ask you to speak up a little bit? Thanks.
Again.
There's Dave at the back going.
When Maggie was asking about when she said that she'd done the where am I question.
Yeah.
And she said that she was saying it whenever she could. And you said, oh, you was doing it too much, working it too much, are you? And I was just wondering why, because obviously I had my one-to-one with you, and I keep saying the question over and over again.
Yeah.
At times I feel a bit of tenseness coming up. When is it because you're trying too hard?
What, the tenseness, is it?
Yeah, like not overworking it, not doing it all the time.
It depends where you're asking the question from. If you're asking the question with an open curiosity, you can't do it too many times. And probably, I can't remember the exact reference, but I think it was just checking that our ego isn't trying to regrow itself from that question. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where, you know, like this, I'm going to, you know, some sort of mantra or something. If you're really sort of open and curious, where am I actually? It should be a joy. And there should be sort of ever unfolding epiphanies happening, but also a recognition that even those aren't really affecting me. They're happening inside me. If you're asking the question from a mind place, there'll be stress and strain, and you'll forget the question, and there'll be lots of mind answers to that question. If it's coming from an open curiosity, the mind answers will fall away, the thoughts. And there'll be more experiential answers. Does that help?
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit of both.
Sometimes
actually.
it just seems to go and repeat almost on its own.
Yeah. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because while it's asking the question, it's also not, your mind is not also agreeing that you're not good enough, or you know, you're not going to be creating from that place.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be obsessed with anything, then that's a good thing to be obsessed with. But just check in and recognize, am I actually using this question properly? Is it bringing me more peace? Am I less and less able to identify with the body and the emotions, and, you know, is that happening? Is it? Put you right on the spot now.
Yeah, because I did it this morning, because I listened back and did this morning. And yeah, things are coming up, and I'm doing like what we said in the one-to-one.
Yeah.
Also, when, like, because when I was with you and we went through it, and I had seen that I don't actually need anything. Can a sort of like that sort of like a scene like that you end up? I was very like I slept massive amount, and then I fell asleep again today.
It's like what we were just talking about, because the tension that's been in the body begins to be let go of even the very first moment you touch the real self. Even if the confirmation isn't complete, it's already having its effect on the body. And something just kind of goes, oh,
Yeah.
I think the first time I sort of felt that, I slept for like 16 hours, which I never do, you
I
know.
would have done it, could have stayed in bed.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that. But it's natural. Sometimes we can feel quite tired, sleepy for a few days, because we've literally been like this energetically, you know. When you start to let go of that, something's uncurling inside you, something's unfolding and unclenching, and sometimes very literally, your muscles are unclenching. The very physical process in that respect.
Yeah.
Energy starting to flow to bits of you that it hasn't got to for a long time, and everything's realigning itself and finding its natural harmony again. Because your body will it'll do all kinds of things to get rid of the tension. It might sneeze, it might yawn a lot, you might find yourself laughing, crying, you know, spontaneously just getting up and stretching, you know, all of that stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't even think I answered your question, but
What was the question?
I don't know. It's awkward.
Oh, if you can overwork your question too much, that was it. Yeah.
You'll know where it's coming from. Is it mind trying to make a problem
Out of it.
Yeah. Am I asking this
right?
question? Yeah, exactly. Am I doing this right? How do I know if but it should become a joy to ask that question and experience the answer that you don't know where you are actually.
Yeah.
You know, it should be wow, you know, sort of a sense of just everything lifting from you that's been burdening you.
Yeah. And the I need question, like do I need anything question? That
Do I really need anything?
Yeah.
Is it true that I really need anything?
Yeah.
That's really good you remembered.
So could it be need as in needing, not just needing things, but needing to do things? It needs sort of covers everything.
Even sneaky needs, like I need to make sure I'm asking this question right.
Yeah, I was thinking that one.
You see?
Yeah.
Because how sneaky
I did think that.
mind is like, things are going a bit too well here. I'm going to be unemployed soon. Like, we just, you know, find a problem quick. It'll just come in with these sneaky little things, but you'll catch it quicker, you know. It can be really subtle, I mean, really obvious things. For me, the need was a lot, you know, I need more money, really need more money, need more time, need more energy. But then there was all these really stuff, I need to clarify more what I really am. I need to understand more what I am. And it's not an understanding process, is it? It's just a seeing. So there'll be all these little ways it tries to rebuild itself. Because it thinks that if you stop thinking, you'll die. Mind says, because it is a thought entity.
Yeah, because I was feeling quite staring at it.
Panic! Something inside hitting the red button. Panic, you know, panic. But you'll recognise that you're just here whether you're thinking or not. So you don't have to respond to that, you know, that panicking inside. We're empty of thought every night in sleep, and you don't actually die. You know, it's just doing it with your eyes open, isn't it?
Okay, that's
Good.
Thank you.
Does anyone else like to ask a question? Yeah.
Have a share.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's loads of works going on at my house.
Like a building site, yeah.
It is like a building site. And I would have been really stressed and anxious. Breaking out, things like that. And it's affecting my body. It's affecting my house, my environment. But it's not affecting me. And the only thing it's affecting me is when I go, it's not affecting me, where is it? And I'm kind of looking for it because it's not there. And
something
really
like that, having your
surprising.
house kind of turned upside down, that would be a stressful thing, wouldn't it, for most people?
And you know, I can get stressed if something's in the wrong cupboard at times, or I used to be able to, and it's really. And then I was speaking to him on the phone, going, I'm really worried. I'm really concerned that it's not there.
I'm worried that there's no worrying going on.
Worrying going on. But that
I don't seem to have any problem with it.
that
That
is
must be a
just-
problem.
it was really. It's just I wanted to share that actually for something. It's an event that it's been coming up for nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's always been thought of whenever they've come to assess it. If every assessment's been very stressful, very angst,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's happening, and it's just kind of.
It's always quite strange to go through something for the first time that would have been such a, you would have got so caught up with it, you know, so much energy expended on worrying and or feeling out of control, you know, out of your normal routine, everything's upside down, you know, that when you actually go through something where it just doesn't touch you inside, you know, it was like, wow, you know, you can really see your progress in that moment, you know, just how established you are without realizing, you know, it's
I can still see that it's tried to balance it out a bit today, because I got a phone call, can you come down and see us, my director and my lettings and the manager, and immediately that unworthiness came back, that obviously I've done something wrong, I'm about to get sacked or whatever. But I was able to
mine never goes to the, oh, maybe I'm going to get a bonus or something, right? It always goes straight to, I'm going to get fired.
But I was able to sort of feel it coming up and take a step back and look at it, and I said, and kind of think, well, it's blank, whatever's going to happen is,
I've really no idea what's going to happen. Yeah.
And that was quite quick as well. That was, I'll come down.
And you saw it instead of before just getting caught in it without seemingly there isn't a choice at first, and you just got to go with it.
Yeah, and it was like my body just gathered my notebook and my diary with a pen. I sort of looked at it, and then I came round, sort of thing. It sounds weird. But I came back and went, when I sort of recognised it. But my body had done what it needed to do, and I was halfway down the stairs, and I was
a few seconds. Oh no, I'm not going to touch that, and it's gone. Then the body might still feel if there's fear or unworthiness or whatever for a few seconds, but you're not. It's not happening to you anymore. It's just happening, isn't it? And it's hugely different. And
it's been particularly the work at home. I'm just recognising that there is a change there, and it's great. I just wanted to share this. It's
very good.
And
eventually, even the response won't be able to happen, even just happening inside you rather than happening to you. It just won't be there because you know you de-identifying with it. You know, it's nothing to do with me. And as that deepens, then it just won't even arise inside you. Because of it just knowing that nothing can affect you at all. You know, just bulletproof in the end, which is a very nice place. Very good. Thank you. I hope it gets finished. Anyone else like to ask or share before we finish? Let's just take a moment to acknowledge yourself as you actually are. Let's just take a moment to recognize that again, that it doesn't have to end just because we are about to end this satsang. That your body can be moving around inside you, that your mind can be moving around inside you, that your emotions can be moving inside you. You being this great space of consciousness, this formless nothingness that is the potential for everythingness, to arise out of. Not actually a thing, but the source of all things. Can this end when your attention leaves it? Is it going to disappear when you walk out of the room you're in? How long has it been there before you noticed it? Is it going to change when your body goes? Does it depend on anything at all for its existence? Does it have any agenda with life? Your formless nature has been always in the background of your experience. And it's just going to become more and more obvious the more you recognize. And who you thought you were is just going to move to the background, just functioning in the background, like a TV playing quietly in the room. And you can still use your mind, but it won't be using you. Okay, thank you. Namaste.